Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Paula Howell joining us live today.
Yes, hold on a sec. I'll just move the garbage can.
That's perfect. No problem. Great to have you here. Just want to make sure we can hear and see each other. Everything going well for you out in Vancouver?
It is. It's, the sun is kind of, with the daylight savings time, we've got, the sun's kind of just rising over the mountains. So that's kind of a nice start of the day.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And we should tell everyone that you're the owner and educational counselor at Howell Academics. What is Howell Academics? Would you mind just putting it out there and telling us?
Howell Academics is an education consulting firm that we work with families at, kind of looking at their project management. But we're doing something really exciting that I wanted to share with you that's pivotal in the journey of academics and beyond.
Ooh, what's happening?
So we're in the final stages of our launch of our society. So the society is Milestones of Love Co. And what that is about is a bit more of a personal heart project. And that is, it's a society to support single mothers within their journey. And I think it's really important to kind of look at the idea of the narrative of how sometimes there is bias towards single mothers or single parenting. And the goal is that to kind of break those barriers, to provide empowerment, to also provide kind of a circle of support within a circle that sometimes doesn't necessarily lean to that support because of the bias of our society. So I find it even more so within what I do, both personally and also with clients. So, it's always very easy to kind of look at a traditional family unit and then be able to kind of have opportunity to support your children as best as possible with all the necessities of resource. But when life sometimes creates indifference, and you are now navigating the terrain on your own, I think that the intention doesn't change, but the circumstance does. However, society's interpretation of the circumstance makes an idea that your desires are different for your child because of choices that you've made collective regarding the either family unit. So for me, navigating the path as a single mother now for the last 3 years has really kind of changed my tapestry of how I view not only what I do, but also the importance of providing access to all has a different meaning to me now. And I really feel that, it's easiest to say when I was speaking, I think we talked about this a while back, about when my daughter had asked me, Mommy, because I have a very strong heart for wanting to foster children, because in a strong world, I would have had 3 children. But I had one with my husband, and but in an ideal world, I would have had 3. So she had asked, Mommy, why do children go to foster care? And I said to her, well, because what happens sometimes is that, and her first thought originally was like, doesn't the mommy want her? And I said, well, that's an interesting thought, is because a lot of people think it's because the mommies don't want them, right? And I said, it's that no mommy ever does not want their child, no mommy. But what happens sometimes is that life means that mommies sometimes have to choose themselves or their situation outside of what they can do, and they try to make life better for their children. But what if you didn't have a car to get to work? And what if you had to take a bus to get to work? What if you didn't have a caregiver to support you in that process, a friend, a helper? What if you were navigating the legal system and the legal system wasn't on your side? What if you were navigating expenses and you wanted to send them to the best thing, but you couldn't send them? What if there were all of these parts and pieces that made it very difficult, and your last resort was to have to say, I have to give my child to somebody else while I try to make things piece together? Or what if somebody comes in and views your child or your family situation within a pigeonhole of time and decides that you're not fit because maybe it was a stressful day, but they haven't seen the times that you've read stories, that you've loved them, that you've tried hard, and that you've done all of these things. And when I explained it to my daughter like that, it really sat within my heart of that reality. And it made me also realize that I'm not void of those challenges either. It's just that ultimately I've had the resource from adapting to my life traumas and situations that have gotten me here to be able to support the elite, to support those that have. But I strongly believe that that wasn't or isn't my full calling. I think that, there's a process of how things work and how they go through. And we've now become like I registered for what's called it's a moms to mom organization in Vancouver, and you mentor a single mother. And I think that the process of doing that, the process of registering for that or being part of that has come full circle for me, because I think the gift of that is not only for the other person, but it's also for myself and my daughter. Because I can tell you, in navigating the shift of becoming a single mother has changed my circle to what my circle used to be, right? Yeah. So that inclusion of being part of, the elite status, going to galas, doing all those things. I don't want to spend $500 on a gala. I don't want to do that, because now, even though I was the provider, I have a different understanding of my time. So my time is more valuable, right? My time is. So how I spend that money or that resource when it was always glitz and glam has now become time, because now as a single mother and not having or wanting to have that access to that support, I want to be more present with my daughter. But what I realize is how much time, I don't want to use the word wasted, but how much time was taken away from that process, trying to provide this umbrella. So Howell Academics, we will continue to always support families in the idea of better education, better support, better resource, better access in admissions and beyond. But there's a very strong portion of it now that I really want to focus on the idea of the starting barrier, because like I said, nobody wants to not give their child the best. And those that have the most, I believe in active contribution. So I want to ensure that there was a balanced segue between what we do and partner, but also have a voice of community, because in the world of admissions in which I live, I'm always the silent contractor. And I believe that there is more relevance to just getting into the schools. And I moved back to another concept where I had wanted to maybe consider another option for my daughter for private school. And I wanted to consider one that resonated more with her character and personality. So I canvassed a few clients that I've had over the last 10, 11 years. And they had said that they would love to be a reference. The only challenge is that they're worried that it might impact their current reputation. And when I thought about that, and I thought about what that means, is I realized that there's a hierarchy in every world in which you work and are part of. Except when you are in need, it ends up kind of like human nature is always of their own survival. Yeah. Right? And when I thought about that, I thought there has to be more to what we do at the higher level in terms of giving access to families to be able to go into elite schools or do whatever. But that same mother who wants the same for their child, and it's not necessarily the idea to go to a private school, it's to have the opportunity to be seen and viewed, to have access. Should not just be the society of poverty, the society of this, the society of lack. But why can't we have a collective group that is just celebrating the journey? Why not? I was recently in a courtroom, and when you go to a chambers courtroom, it's almost like Judge Judy. Okay, like you're witnessing everybody's personal agenda on their case. And I'm listening to a mother trying to advocate for support. And I'm listening to her, and I'm listening, and I'm feeling her pain, and she's not represented because she probably can't afford legal counsel anymore. And I'm looking at her partner, who is in a suit, who is, well-spoken and calm because he doesn't have the kids 5 days a week. And how he's coaxed and he's doing all of these things, and a very empathetic judge, but just stating to her, this is not legal. This is not legal mandate. I need legal mandate to authenticate. And he was nice enough to recess and try to find some to articulate to her so she could work through.
Aww.
But what I thought to myself is there isn't a lot of opportunity for one to tell their story. And if you do try to tell your story, you're considered high conflict. So I believe that the challenge mainly is that nobody wants to hear the story behind the choice.
No.
And you can't wait to see a counselor to offshoot it. A counselor is good to help you personally navigate. But there's a timer. And the timer goes in an hour. And that's usually an hour billed at a certain amount, right? So, and if you had the opportunity, if parents had the opportunity, if mothers who want the best for their child had the opportunity to purge those ideas, to become equipped and skilled with how to tell their story within a program like the court system, how to advocate, how to find those resources, how to take back their autonomy of what is really theirs, and their super strength, which is to be a mother who is single, while still having the vulnerability within a circle of community of other single mothers to raise them up and not be considered a statistic, I think would empower other parents to actually, like single mothers, to know how to ask for grants, how to do things, how to work, and how to have access to private school if that's what you want, how to stand strong and tall in a public school as a single mother, or how to find resource that doesn't create bias or stigma, because that's what I want to create with this society. So we launched Milestones. I launched Milestones of Love Co. just literally as a landing page now. And we've become a society now. It's been registered now as a society. Mm-hmm. And our first project is we are going on Hastings, and we're doing through Better Life Foundation in Vancouver. And we're going to do a serving mothers, single mother dinner for those that are less fortunate at this time. As my daughter's birthday, that's what she wants to do. So after she understood about the idea of single mothers. So I know that was a very long-winded start to our dialogue today, but we've been off a little bit because I've had a cold. My daughter's had a cold.
Me too. I can't stop coughing. I'm so sorry.
Right? And that's okay, right? But
thank you.
It's all part of that, right? It's all part of that. It's all part of the idea. It's either boss mom, executive mom, failure mom, house mom, no mom. Like it's all of these in-betweens that just need to go. And you see them more prevalent. I see them more prevalent in what I do because it's no different. I was talking to a friend of mine who was saying, when I said there was I had researched a couple of different communities and was saying, oh, well, that particular one is a feminist group, right? And I was like, why so? Yeah. And they said, well, they always advocate for the single mother's rights. And I said, well, maybe you may have that perception, but let me ask you this question. What's the difference between a group of parents who are elite, who have a group that do not allow that mother into that group? Is that not considered a biased group? Mm-hmm. And why is that okay in our community and society because of their status? But a group that's advocating for someone's rights because they've not had justice at some point in their life is considered a feminist group or a group that shouldn't be looked upon as a group of justice. So when I look at those ideas and I look at what the pillar of education is supposed to represent, right? Education is supposed to represent free access to knowledge, worth, empowerment, and that really should be available to everyone. So from personal experience and also from going here to navigating here, I felt that it was more important to kind of utilize our time together, whatever ones we have left remaining, to kind of really focus on the idea of those that are in need of understanding how do we get from, where we're here to actually moving to here, to be able to have and aspire to having what we want in admissions for our child, having readiness skills, having, our own readiness skills and balance. And that's what we're launching now. So January we'll launch the official platform. It'll be Milestones Academy. And Milestones awesome. Academy. Yeah, Milestones Academy of Learning will be for single mothers. There will be to access the course or to access the modules will be a very easy rate to access it. You'll have free access to everything. And then if you want to start your own group, like a coach, a counselor, whatever, they will be subsidizing that so that whatever they pay for that will be subsidizing the access for parents to be able to utilize, single mothers to be able to have access to all of these resources at no cost. Because I believe that it's the lack of access to resource. And because in the last, 10, 12 years that I've been working in education, I have a plethora of resources in terms of network resources that are now wanting to say, yes, we want to be part of this. We want to be able to showcase this. We want to be able to support you, but now we can because this company is not under the umbrella of private school admissions. So it's like the secret admissions portal. Like, do you know what I mean? It's more something that can support a greater purpose. And I believe that it's when we have moments of challenge in our lives, we become the best mentors. And I believe that single mothers are the best mentors.
Yep.
Because they have to be resilient for their children.
Oh my gosh, I commend you on that. Yep, absolutely. Same here. I am one as well. So it's just so sweet that you're helping so many people like this. This is beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. And it's hard because even me having to say it, not a difficult, but it's almost like society places a shame on you, right? You're a single mother. Where did you fail? What did you do wrong? It's like and it's not about right or wrong. I don't believe that. The choice to actually choose to be a single mom is not a choice anybody makes.
No.
Right? And it comes in many different forms. It comes in many different ways. It could be a loss. It could be choosing safety. It could be choosing or realizing your own worth now, realizing, you are better off as an individual, but would want to co-parent successfully, but maybe the other person isn't wanting to.
Mm-hmm.
When you're balancing all of those, and you're also balancing trying to keep life afloat, and you're also balancing raising a human, and also navigating your new role and your new position, and you don't have extra resource to actually get counseling support and care outside of trying to add yourself to a list or go to a community center where there is massive bias or impact or influence, then it's very difficult. So the goal is to take what I know of Howell academics in terms of to reorganize the concept of that myth, to not use words of poverty, not use words of that, because those are only seasons we're in at the moment as single mothers, or as seasons. They're not forevers. The challenge is our society does not necessarily make it very easy for us to move past that season.
Oh, and that stereotype. Oh, yeah. Deal with it a lot. And like the only single mom in my little community where I live, it's so funny because I live in it's 400 and something homes. And we just had our little Santa breakfast party and stuff at the clubhouse, last week. And I'm the only single person in here. Everyone has a husband or a boyfriend. And I've always been the single one. But you feel out of place sometimes and people judging you. It's just weird. I get it. I get it. It's so hard. But I love that you're helping mamas like ourselves.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's the only club or group that I have. And then right now, I've got 4 moms that I'm working with as not just the mentorship program, but just moms like you and I, right? That we're in this group, and we, we're making our own little group. It was just we set some strict guidelines that when we go, we're not going to talk about our partners. We're not focusing on any of those things. We're focusing on a group for ourselves, right? Yeah. To feel valued, to feel great, to share resource, to share support. There are many different clubs out there and groups and sorority clubs of things of people of groups, like alumni groups, all these things where people posture and do. But single mother groups are never available where they are celebratory and saying, we made it today, women, we've made it today. We had an okay day today. It's been great. Let's meet once a month at your house and have a tea, a dinner, or whatever, a potluck. And let's just have the kids play and let's us just enjoy our company today. Let's go to a movie together. I tried all those things with trying to sign up to Girl Guides with my daughter. That was a total flop. It changed from 40 years ago. Okay. It's not the same. Trying to have, just, you're right though, but going to I went to a few events for Christmas recently, experienced the exact same thing where I'm the only single mother, right? Who do you talk to? So you're in the parent group and they're, talking about all these things that they may be doing together with their families. But our families are disconnected right now, right? It's like we're sharing time, we're working through this, I'm navigating that. So the conversations don't flow as easy because they're not the same conversations. And there's a automatic, look at your left-hand finger. Are you married or you're not married? Like it's wherever.
So true. Yeah.
Wherever you go. Right.
Yeah.
It's like not wanting to wear a ring in that place, but wanting to wear one. So you're veered different, but then also saying to yourself, I don't want to be veered by the idea of somebody else being attached to a system of me when I'm as whole as I am without needing to be attached to someone despite whatever that reason is, right?
Yeah.
So why you chose that. So what I'm saying is that there's a different narrative. So when we look at academics and we look at, full circle, the idea of academics, my mother always has this saying that you learn your life lessons in seasons as if you're a student gauging through life. And I believe that. I believe that there are different seasons of life and journey, and that is academics. And Howell Academics, to me, has always wanted to be almost like a platform of learning, not just about getting into a private school. It was always bigger and more to me than that. And it only came full circle with my own journey.
Yeah.
And wanting to really kind of tap into
Aww.
truth and kind of, just really source of like, what really are you intending and supposed to be doing in life? So.
Oh my gosh. Well, Unfortunately, we're out of time. Paula, I love speaking with you. I know we got off to a late start today, but
okay.
Thank you for sharing all this. Powerful. And thank you for doing what you do. And I commend you for everything and wishing you, oh my gosh, and your little girl the best. And of course with your business too, but personally. So tell us how we can reach out to you, please.
So you can reach out to me at, we've got howellacademics.com or we've got also just the personal email at hi@milestonesofloveco.com.
Okay.
Is also available. But I think we have a few more podcasts left before we end our journey together, you and I. So maybe we can touch base before we start over again. And I'm just not sure with the Christmas holiday season or the season right now, where are we at with our next time together? So are we meeting next week as well?
Perfect. I think so. I hope so. I'm around. I'll see you then. Thank you.
Okay. Well, happy holidays.
I know. Same to you. It's so exciting, right? It's like,
and get better. Take some TLC time.
Thank
I know
you too. I know. It's so hard. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, listeners. And I'll see you guys again.
Sounds good. Bye, sweetheart. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.